Well, folks, harvest has been going full bore until today, 7 days a week. But we got a little moisture last night, and that kept them from harvesting today. We just had to run in real quick and dump the loads that were loaded last night after the elevator closed. But we're going to take advantage of this break because we got some weather coming in. It's getting dark. I don't know how if you can see it off in the distance. It's coming this way. And we got to get some stuff out of the garden because they're expecting some hail today. And we got a freeze coming on Saturday. So come on along. Let's get out there and get this stuff done. Well, we got no time to waste. I can already hear the thunder and raindrops are already falling on my head. The wind is coming up. We need to get her done. I apologize about the wind early on here. So our priorities: peppers that are ready, especially jalapenos and habaneros, which are down on this end. I need to get my basil plants. I'm just going to pull those completely up and then just throw them in the greenhouse. And then whatever tomatoes are ready to go, we need to get those. Got our sweet potatoes over here, but I don't think the weather's going to hurt those. Those potatoes are underground, and even the little freeze on Saturday will probably just kill the plants, and then we'll just dig the potatoes. All right, goal number one, the basil is in the greenhouse. That thunder's getting pretty serious up there. I think I heard somewhere that lightning is the most common weather-related deaths. I can believe it. Let's get on these peppers. Well, so far most of the lightning has been up in the clouds. There's been no bolts coming down to the ground, and that's a good thing. Hopefully it stays up there. So I got all my habaneros picked. Now we're working on our jalapenos. It's starting to rain on me, but I got to keep going. I got dry clothes in the house. As you can hear, the sky opened up, so I came into the greenhouse real quick. My back is totally soaked. It is coming down. Ruby is not liking this. What do you think, Ruby? Pretty ugly, huh? Just when you thought it was calming down. So I leave it to me to take the stool out of the greenhouse when I can have something to sit on. Alright, it has slowed down just a skosh. So I think Ruby and I are going to make a mad dash to the house. The thunder's still rolling. Wish us luck. Boy, a big clap right overhead, but luckily it was just in the clouds, but we made it to the house. The weather radio has gone off while we were gone, and there's 3 stages. There's advisory, there's watch, and then there's warning, and it says we have a severe thunderstorm warning. And we figured that out already. If you live somewhere where you get weather like this, it's a very good idea to get one of those radios because they're battery backed up, and it'll let you know if there's something coming in, if the power goes out or something like that. Or if you're relying on internet like your phone or whatever, once you get those heavy storms overhead, you're going to have the rain fade with your Wi-Fi at your house and stuff like that. It's going to go out, so that's not reliable. But this weather radio will go off no matter what, and it'll let you know even in the middle of the night. And there's different settings. You can set it how close you want it to alert you. But we, like that big hailstorm that knocked most of our garden out, that radio never even went off. So it's tough to figure out sometimes. So our main priority was achieved out in the garden. Get all of our habaneros that are ready and all of our red jalapenos. If you've never seen red jalapenos, they're just regular jalapenos that stay on the plant longer and they turn red. Doesn't make them hotter, which is a misconception. Just like a fruit, as it gets more ripe, it gets actually sweeter. So we're going to make some salsa that my friend Arnold makes out of these habaneros. If you remember last year, our habaneros were completely froze out because we started a month late in the garden because of weather in the spring that wouldn't allow us to plant out. And then our habaneros were not ready by the time the frost hit and all the plants died. But this year we got some. Last year we got a handful, but that was it. And then, so the salsa that he makes, I call it salsa, but it's really a kind of a hot sauce. You want to use it as a condiment and not like eating with chips. So habanero has a fantastic fruity flavor. If you've never tried habanero, beautiful flavor in habanero. So what my buddy does is he tones down the heat of the habaneros by mixing in jalapenos. And that may seem crazy because they're both hot peppers, but these are nowhere near in the ballpark of your habaneros. So like I said, you're not going to eat it with chips, but you put a little dab on a pork chop or a steak or a little spoonful in a pot of spaghetti. It gives you that really good spice that you need and really adds that beautiful fruity habanero flavor. So I picked my buddy Arnold's brain here about a year ago or so. There's no hard and fast recipe for this, but this is what the closest thing that he could come up with. So 1 pound of jalapenos and 2 pounds of, 1 pound of habaneros, 2 pounds of jalapenos. So basically 2-to-1 ratio there. And so we'll figure out the weight. Feels like we've got almost a pound there. If not, we've got a half a pound. We'll cut this recipe in half. So to that, you're going to add 1 white onion, half a cup of minced garlic, a quarter bottle of liquid smoke, salt to taste, cider vinegar just to where the consistency looks good, and some water. Probably, my guess would be maybe half and half vinegar and water, or maybe 2/3 to a third, 2/3 vinegar to a third of water, whatever your flavor or your taste is. So let's get our peppers weighed. So we got 1 pound, 1.4 ounces. So I'm assuming once we remove all of the stems, that's going to be putting us fairly close. So I'm excited. Well, everything looks fresh and clean out there. We should probably go out and get tomatoes, but there's going to be a lot of standing water in the garden. So I'm going to check out the radar, see what it looks like. If it's pretty much over, we'll probably wait till morning to do the tomatoes. Now I just talked to my buddy Arnold. He gave me some little bit better amounts. He says he does a 1/4 cup of salt, 1 cup of cider vinegar, and about 2 cups of water. So I was way off on the liquid portion, but everything else sounds good. We've got the stems off of all of our habaneros. Arnold says he never takes the seeds out of any of his peppers, just removes the stems is all he does. So we're going to have to pulse this down a little bit, of course, to get our jalapenos in there. So we'll start putting the liquid in here, and then we'll give it a couple pulses. And then we're going to weigh out our jalapenos, rinse them, and pull the stems off. And then we'll be off to the races. All right, let's give these a little pulse to get them knocked down. Oh, there's a power button. This is that blender we bought in the auction here a while back, if you remember. That ought to work now. All right, that's got us down pretty far. Looks like it's picking back up out there. See that lightning? Little microburst coming through. So we're probably not going to get those tomatoes picked tonight. Thunder's still rumbling. Yeah, it's getting cray-cray out there. Look at that big old limb off that tree that come down in the yard. The going sideways. We might have to get down the basement for a minute. That's insane. Oh, we've got hail. We didn't want that. My truck's in it. I guess I should have put it in the barn. Good thing they haven't fixed my last hail damage claim yet. We've got hail of various sizes, but the big stuff is like a quarter size. I think you can see one right there. There's a few out there. So my poor truck's going to have some more dings in it. Eventually we want to put a carport over there by the shop. But that's a ways down the road. So much for those tomatoes in the garden. I got a picture of some of the hail that was outside, but no sense crying over spilt milk or dented pickups. So I've got 1 pound of our red jalapenos measured out. I'm going to throw those in, pulse those down, and then weigh another pound of those out. I've got the stems out and they're all washed up, ready to go. Boy, we are at capacity of our blender and I haven't even got my onion in there yet. So what we'll probably do is we'll blend this up. We have all the other ingredients in here. We'll dump half of it out. We'll cut our onion in half. We'll blend the half an onion with half of the mix and then do that twice. And then we can just combine it all together in a bigger container. There's our consistency after doing both batches. And that's about the consistency that Arnold makes his. It's not completely pureed and liquefied. There's a little texture left to it. And that's the way we like it. His doesn't come out quite this color because he doesn't use the red jalapenos like I did, but I wanted the vibrant color. But smells really familiar. Hope we did your sauce justice, Arnold. So you do yourself a favor at this point and wash your hands about 5 times with cold water, not hot water. You don't want to open your pores. And clean off all your countertops, all the utensils you used. You don't want to get this stuff and rub your face or anything like that because it would be ugly. All right, I got her covered with plastic wrap so Kelly's not going to kill me when she gets home if I run her out of here like I pepper sprayed her or something. It's not bad. I'm not tearing up or anything at all, but Kelly's hypersensitive to hot stuff. Now Kelly's going to be home here in about 5 minutes. I'm going to talk her into going and getting a steak in town because I'm craving a steak and I worked half the day so I didn't get anything taken out for dinner. So when I come back, I'm going to can this and we'll show you the end result. So we'll see you then. Thought I'd come out here and see the carnage before we left the town. You remember what those look like. They were nice plants. Lots of tomatoes on the ground. We might be able to salvage some tomatoes tomorrow as long as we use them right away fresh, which I plan on doing. The peppers look a little worse for wear out there, but we might be able to salvage some of the bell peppers. Okay, we are back home. I'm just going to use my big stainless steel pot. I don't need to get out the big canner. We used a bunch of our oddball jars. So I'm going to put water in here, about 1 inch over the top of the tallest one. And all this is going to heat up together. So we were able to cold pack that into the jars. So that will heat the same time as the water does. And then once this comes to a boil, then we'll start the 12-minute timer. Then we'll be done. All right, our timer went off, so we're going to shut her down. Turn that fire off. And then once that stops boiling, we'll get those out on the counter. Now the contents of the jars is going to somewhat cook a little bit as the canner heated up and started to boil, and that'll take some of the green flavor out of the salsa. You can see our hodgepodge bunch of jars here. Got them out of the canner. Look at the beautiful color on this stuff. It's gorgeous. We'll use this partial bottle first. All right, folks, that is a wrap. I hope you enjoyed the video. Arnold, thank you for the recipe. I'm really going to enjoy this, and I got plenty of it now. He's actually going to send me a jar of his that he just made, and I'll send him a jar of mine so we can both compare it. But it smells very familiar, and I'm going to really enjoy it. So, till next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come back here and see us at Markelly Farm. We got lots more to do.